Okay, welcome back everyone to our Motzei Shabbos Marathon as we're learning this incredible Gemara. And we said every word is a separate mitzvah saseh. We all are benefiting from the learning of Torah. We should be mekayim the mitzvah v'dibarta bam. L'asais nachas ruach liyitzreinu, to give nachas ruach to our Creator. Hashem should give us the reward of refuah and gesund, and give us the birchas HaTorah. As it says, Torah is Megan Umatzai, it shields, it saves. So we are holding now 3 lines from the top of Daf Lametes Amud Aleph. Amalei Kaifer l'Rabbi Gamliel, a heretic said to Rabbi Gamliel, Elokeichem ganafu, your God, he's a thief. D'chsev vayapal Hashem elikim tardei ma'alo adam, Hashem cast a slumber on man, vayishan, and then he stole from him a rib. Amalei brate, so the Kaifer's daughter said, Shafke, leave me, da'ano mahadranale, I'll answer him. She said, I'll answer my father. Amalei, she said to her father, Tnuli duchas echad, give me a fair judge to judge the following case. Amala lamalech, so the father said, why do you need a judge? Well, listim ba'an alecha alayla, thieves came last night, v'lot natlu mimenu kitin shel kesef, and they stole from us a silver pitcher, and v'inichu lanu kitin shel zav, and they put in its place a golden pitcher. So I want restitution. So the father said, what do you need a judge for? Halavai, we should have such thefts every day. So therefore she said to him, she took from him 1 rib, Hashem took a rib, and gave a woman who will take care of him, who will make food for him, who will clothe him, who will make him comfortable. Amallah, so the father said to her, Hachi Kamina, Ela lishkele behedya, why did Hashem have to act like a thief in the knife? He should have taken the rib, he shouldn't have put Moshe Adam Arishan asleep as if he had to do something surreptitiously. Amalei, so she said to him, Aisili umsa de bisra, bring me a piece of raw meat dripping with blood. Aisula, he brought it to her, and in front of him, Aiswa Tusei Baksha, she put it under coals, Apikta, and when it was finished, Amalei Echomai, she said, eat from it. But since he saw when it was repulsive, Amalah Me'isali, since he saw when it was repulsive, he's not, he's used to getting the steak served on a plate, garnished with broccoli and mashed potatoes. He never saw it in his repulsive, bloody state, and he wasn't willing to eat it. Amalei, so she said to him, V'adamarishanami, Iyavishkila behedya, if Hashem would have done the surgery and removed the rib, Hava me'isolei, then Chava would be muzz that she came from a piece of rib. Amalei Kaifel Rabbi Gamliel, Yodane elikaichu maika ovid, I know what God is doing, ve'echan yosef, and I know where God is sitting. Isnagid ve'isnach. So Rabbi Gamliel sighed and groaned. Amalei maihai. Amalei ben echad yeshli b'krachei hayam. I have a son on the islands. He's lost. V'yeshli gaguin alav, and I yearn for him. Ba'ina demichris nihali. Could you tell me where he is? Amar. How would I know where your son is? You don't know what's even on this world. You know Hashem who's in the heavens? Don't be ridiculous. A heretic said to Rabbi Gamliel, Hashem counts and knows the number of the stars. My Ravusei. What's the special about that? I could count the stars. So Rabbi Gamliel showed him how foolish it is that he thinks that he could count the stars. I see Chabusha, he brought a bunch of small quinces. Shadinu ba'arbila, he put it in a sieve, v'kamahadalu, and he started twirling the sieve like a dreidel. Amalei, so he said to him, Meninu, count the quinces. Amalei ukminu, he says, well, if you stop it, I'll be able to count them. Amalei rekia nami achihadra. So the sky is also that way. The heavens are constantly in orbit. They're constantly moving. How can you count the stars? Ikadamre, others say, Haki Amalei. Menili kaichavik. I know how to count the stars. Amalei, so he said to him, Amali kachek v'shinach kamahava. Tell me how many molars and teeth you have. Now he didn't know. So Shada Yedei Lepume, he put his hand into his mouth, and he started counting them. Amalei de'ika b'pume lo yadis. You didn't even know what was in your mouth unless you counted them, and you think you know what's going on in the heavens? Come on, who are you kidding? De'ika b'pume lo yadis, de'ika b'rekia yadis. You know what's going on in the heavens? Amalei kaifel Rabbi Gamliel. A heretic said to Rabbi Gamliel, Misha bara harim loy bara ruach. He who created the mountains did not create the winds, because it says Shenemar ki neyotzer harim. The mountains were created, uvore ruach, and the wind was created. That implies that it's done by different people. Says Gemara Elamata Gabi Adam Dichsiv Vayivra. He created Vayitzer and he formed Hakanami Mishabar Lazeh Loy Barazeh. The one who created one limb did not create the other limb. Tefach al tefach yesh ba'adam. There is a area on the head. Ushnei nekavim yesh ba. There are two openings, the eye and the ear. Misha barazeh loy barazeh. Are you going to say he who created one did not create the other? Shenemar hanoita oizen alo yishma. One who planted the ear, does he not hear? Im yoitzer ayin, he who formed the eye, halo yabit, does he not see? You're going to say that they were created by two different people? Amalayin. So the heretic said, yeah, there's two different creators, one for the eye, one for the nose. Amalei. So Rabbi Gamliel says, you know how ridiculous that is? O b'shas misa. And when the man dies, kulan nispaisu, all the different creators, the creator of the eye, the creator of the heart, the creator of the head, they all get together and have a convention to agree that the person should die. The whole thing is absolutely ridiculous. A certain magician told Ameimer, Mipalgach li'iloi de Hermes. Your upper half belongs to Hermes, who was, the devil, Ashmedai, Mipalgach l'satoi da Hermes. And your bottom part belongs to God, because in Persian that's God. Amalei, so he says, Im Kain, if that's the case, Heikin shavak le'ahurmes le'hurmes lavure maya ba'are. How did God give permission that the upper part should send urine to his part? Isn't that ridiculous that they're owned by different parts? The upper body and the lower body are owned by different people. Then why would the lower body allow the upper body to send wastes into its environment? So obviously the whole thing is completely ridiculous. Amalei Kesa l'Reb Tamchim Tala have kulan la'amachad. Let us all be one nation. So Reb Tamchim says, okay, look, l'chai ananda mahalinan, we that are already circumcised, we can't become uncircumcised. Lo matzinan mahave kavasaychu, we can't be like you. Atun milisu v'have kavasan. So you circumcise and be like us, then we'll all be the same. So Amalei, so the Tsar said, you know what? Meimer shaper kamrik. You said right, you bested me. But miu, the rule is, in Rome, called the Zache Lamalka, whoever bests the king and humiliates the king, Lishdua Lebever, he's thrown into a pit of the wildest beasts. Shadua, they threw Reb Tanchim into the pit, but V'lo Yachalua, but the animals didn't eat him because, as we said, the animals are afraid of a real man. Amalei Tzedoki, so Tzedoki said, you know why they're not eating? It's not because there's anything special about him. They're not hungry. They're not hungry. Well, the Tzduki opened his mouth. They said, okay, let's see. They threw the Tzduki in. They threw him in, and of course, they immediately ate the Tzduki. As we're getting underway over here in this amazing Gemara, as we are getting mitzvahs and schusim every minute, and I give everybody, tremendous yasher keichacha to be on for such a long time to learn so much Gemara, and we should be able with gesund to learn through Shas. Every Masechta has its challenges. After we're going to learn Sanhedrin, we're going to learn the fascinating Masechta of Makis, and then after Makis, maybe I shouldn't tell you, after Makis comes Shvuas, which is a rather hard Masechta. So we have all kinds of experiences, and then we have Masechtas Avodah Zarah, which I had to tell some people in my old shul that they shouldn't say, I love Avodah Zarah. They like the Masechta so much, they used to say, I love Avodah Zarah. You shouldn't do that. Mark, it's not a good idea to say, I love Avodah Zarah. But anyway, now, what Marshall meant to say is, nobody is saying that they love Marshall. Says the Gemara, right? That's what you meant. Says the Gemara, Amalei Kaifer l'Rabbi Gamliel, Amrisu Kol Be'asara Shchinta Shai. This is a very interesting question. Wherever there's 10 people, there's Shchina, right? That's what we say, right? We're always counting to see, right, if we have a minyan, right? Because if there's a minyan, there's Shchina. So, Kama Shchinta Ika. How many Shchinas are there? There's a Shchina in Marshall Shul, there's a Shchina in my Shul, there's a Shchina in Shul in Staten Island. How many Shchinas are there? So Karyeh L'Shameh, the Rabbi Gamliel called the attendant of the min, Machabei Ba'apka, Ba'paska, and he hit him on the neck. Amalei, and then an explanation of why he hit him on the neck. Amai ol shimsha b'beisei de kaifer. Why did you allow light to go into the house of the kaifer? He wants it dark. He wants to rest. Why did you allow light? Amalei shimsha kuli almanaycha. What do you mean? Why did I allow light? Light is all over the world. So he said, "Omashim shedechad min elef alfei ribay shamashe the coming kuchabrichu madaf the sun, which is 1,000 of thousands of 10,000s of attendants of Hashem, is all over the world. Nicha lekuli alma is all over the world. Shkinta, the kuchabrichu, the shchina of Hashem, alachas kama v'kama, that it could be all over the world." Amaleyahu mina Rabbi Avo, a heretic said to Rabbi Avo, Elokeichem gachachanhu, your God is a scoffer. The Ka'amalei Yecheskel, he told Yecheskel in one pasuk, Shchav al tzidcha ismaili, lay down on your left side. Uksiv, and then in another pasuk it says, V'shachavta al tzidcha yamani, you should lie down on your right side. So also Talmida, so a disciple came, Amalei, my time of the Shviyasa. He asked Rabbi Avo, what's the reason of Shemitah? Why do we leave the land not planted once every 7 years? Amalei, so he said to him, Hashta aminu l'chumilsa, I'm going to give you an answer, the Shavya L'Trevaya, that will answer both your questions. Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yisrael, Hashem said to Yisrael, Ziru Sheish, Vashmitu Sheva. Plant 6 years and leave the 7th year fallow, rest. This is a reminder once every 7 years that the true owner of the land is Hashem, and he could tell you not to plant the land. The Hein Lo Yasu came, but they didn't do this. Elachatu, they sinned v'galu. Now, minhagay shel olam, the way of the world is Melech Basav Dam Shesarchol of Medina, a king who a province sins. Im achzorihu arigas kulam. If Hashem is angry, he kills them all. Im rachamanu, if he's merciful, hayrek chetziam, he kills only half. Im rachamim mali rachamimu miyasar agdolim shebehem b'yisurim, he punishes the leaders with suffering. Af kach HaKadosh Baruch Hu, since the leader was Yecheskel, was Miyasir Yecheskel, and had him sleep once on one side and once on another side, had him toss and turn, Kidei L'Morek Avonaisim Shel Yisrael, Avonaisim Shel Yisrael, to purge the sins of Yisrael. Amalei Avimina LeRebbe Avo, Elikechem Kayinu, God is a Kayin. Dichsiv Yikuli Truma, take from me Truma. So literally this means take from me, Hashem says, take from me Truma, that I'm a Kayin. Ki kavrei l'Moshe b'mai tavel. When he buried Moshe Rabbeinu, how did he immerse himself to cleanse himself from the Tumah? V'chi tema b'maya, that Hashem immersed himself in water, but Hashem can't fit in water because he measured the water of the world with a fist. So Hashem measured the water with a fist, so Hashem can't fit his entire being in water. Amalei benura tfil, he immersed in fire. Hashem passes through fire. So asks the min, Umi salka tfilasa benura, can one immerse with fire? Amalei adarabah, ikar tfilasa benura, the best immersion is fire. If it can't pass through fire, then taviru b'mayim, then it should be put through water. Who is like your nation, Yisrael, one nation in the land? What's special about Klal Yisrael? Atun nami arvisu b'adam. We're in the same boat as you. All nations are like nothing before him. So what's special about Klal Yisrael? Amalei mididchu asidu alam. Your own prophet testifies about how unique we are. It says a bilam dichsiv uvagoyim lo yischashav. They are not included in the goyim. So when it says in the pasuk that kol hagoyim ka'ayin negdecha, your own prophet says that we're not included in the goyim. And now as we start the final amid, and coming down over here to the finish line to finish this wondrous perek, are we starting a new? No, not yet. But this week, actually Tuesday, we'll start volume 2 of the Art Scroll. Rabbi Lazar Rami. Rabbi Lazar asks a contradiction. Ksiv toiv Hashem lakol. Hashem is good to everyone. But v'ksiv, it says toiv Hashem l'koivav. Hashem is good to those that hope to him. So the Gemara says, Mashal Adam Shiesh Pardes. This could be compared to somebody who has an orchard. Kishu Mashka, when he waters the orchard, Mashka is kuloi. He waters everything. So even the bad trees get water. But Kishu Aided, when he gives the personal treatment, he hose, Eina Aided Elatayrim Shabam. He only hoes the best trees. So while Hashem will benefit everyone, and it'll rain for everyone, but the special preferential treatment will only be to those that hope to Hashem. Lefika kol echad ve'echad, the Mishnah finishes off with the pasuk ba'avoid rishoim rina, with the perishing of the wicked is song. Vayavar harina b'machana, and they pass through Song in the camp. This is talking about when the wicked Achav died, so there was singing in the camp. Amar Rav Acha bar Chanina, Ba'avoid Risha Rina, with the perishing of the wicked is song. Ba'avoid Achav ben Omri, with the perishing of Achav ben Omri, there's Rina. So the Gemara wonders, does Hashem rejoice with the suffering of the wicked? Does Hashem rejoice with the downfall of the wicked? When the troops came before me, thanks to Hashem, for His kindness is forever. But you notice that in that pasuk, it doesn't say V'aidul Hashem kitayv. Why doesn't it say in this Haidah Taiv, the pasuk is talking about when Yoshaphat battled with Ammon and won the Ammonites, so it says Hoidul Hashem ki la'olam chastai. It doesn't say Hoidul Hashem ki taiv. V'amar Rabbi Yonasan mipnei maloi nema b'ida zu ki taiv lefi she'ein HaKadosh Baruch Hu sameach. Hashem doesn't rejoice b'mefaltem shel rishon. This is true that Hashem didn't allow the Malachi Asharis to sing Shira at the Yamsuf. They didn't come close one to another the entire night. Now, literally, this means that the Egyptians and the Jews were not able to come close. The Egyptians weren't able to hurt the Jews the entire night. But it says, and we say in our davening that the angels get together. Misnasim l'uma serafim. They come together and they praise Hashem. But v'loikarav zel zeh kol halayla, the malachim did not come near one to another in song the entire night. Ba'isa shah, by the Yamsuf bikshu malachi asharis loim yashira lefnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. They wanted to say song before Hashem. Amalem HaKadosh Baruch Hu ma'aseh yadai tovim b'yam. They drowned my handiwork in the city. My handiwork has drowned in the water. The Egyptians are drowning. You want to say song? So it says the Gemara. Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Let's bring in Dr. Guy. Welcome, Dr. Guy, joining us as we are on Lamed Tes Amud Beis in Masechta Sanhedrin, about 15 lines from the top. So says the Gemara, you're right. The Rabbeinu Shalom and his celestial angels do not celebrate. Amar Rabbi Yosef bar Chanina, hu einay sas. The Rabbeinu Shalom and his celestial angels do not rejoice. Aval acherim mesis, but others do rejoice. Dekanami dechsiv yosis. Hashem will cause others to rejoice. Like yosus, he himself will not rejoice. I can't help, even though it's a very long daf, and we've been learning for a very long time, but I can't help but tell you a famous pshat over here of Rav Shmuel Shmelka Nikolsburg, a different, entire different understanding of this, what the Malachi Asharis wanted to do by the Yamsuf. You see, it says that when Sancheriv's army came to attack Chizkiyahu did not have an army. But what Hashem did is he caused that Sancheriv's army should hear the Malachim singing, and they all died. Over 135,000 died. So, says Reb Shmelka Nikolsburg, that's what the Malachim wanted over here. Bikshu Malachi Asharis Loimer Shira. They wanted to sing song and have the Egyptians die from the song. And Hashem said to them, Maise Yodai Tovim B'Yan. The Egyptians drowned my children in the Yam. V'atem Aimim Shira, and you want to kill them with song? They have to die Mida Keneged Mida with drowning in the Yam. And that's the way Rav Shmuel Shmelkim Nickelsberg learns the Gemara. V'azoynois rachatzu, and the harlots were bathed. Now, what are we talking about? This is talking about the death of Achav. What does it mean? Hazoynois rachatzu. Amar Rebbe lemarek shteiches yonos. With the death of Achav, this, so to say, cleansed and fulfilled the two visions of Nevi'im. Acha shel Michio, one of Michio, v'acha shel Eliyo. B'Michio ksiv, im shayv tashuv b'shalom, if Achav returns in peace, lo diber Hashem bi, Hashem didn't speak to me. Achav did not return in peace. B'Eliyo ksiv b'makam asher lokakuk akalovim es dam novois, in the place that the dog lapped up the blood of novois, there it will lap up the blood of Achav, which, so both of these were fulfilled. So Hazoynos means the Chezyonos, the two visions. Rava Amar Zoynos Mamish. What does it mean? It means that the Zoynos on Achav's chariots were wiped out. You see, Achav ish mitzunin haya. Achav was a passionless person. Va'asasalai Izevel, and his wife Izevel made state surei Zoynos b'merkavtai, two images of fetching harlots on his chariot, kedei sheyirai sam v'yischamim, that he should see them and get heated up for her. And the attack washed away these Zoynos. Now the pasuk continues, the ish, and a man, moshach b'keshech l'sumai. The pasuk says, and a man drew the bow according to his innocence, vayakeh, and smote Achav. What does it mean, l'sumai? Rabbi Elazar Aimer lefi tumai, he didn't even mean to kill him. It was done incidentally. Rav Amar l'samem shteiches yonos, it means to bring to emes, the truth, the two visions that we talked about, Acha shel Michio, that he won't come back alive, Acha shel Eliyo, that the blood will lap up, the dogs will lap up the blood of Achav. Now, we're going to learn now about another great personality in the history of the Jewish people. This is a personality that many people are not aware of. Ksiv vayikra Achav el Ovadyo asher al habayis. Achav summoned Ovadyo, who was in charge of his house. Ovadyo, by the way, was a convert. He was a ger. Ovadyo, the pasuk gives him a tremendous accolade. Ovadyo yurei es Hashem ma'od. Ovadyo was very exceedingly God-fearing. Now, my kamakra, what does it mean that Achav summoned Ovadyo over his house? Amar Reb Yitzchak, Amalei, Achav said to Ovadya, I don't understand, why didn't you bring prosperity to my house? B'Yakov ksiv nichashti, Lavan said I did divination, v'yavarcheni Hashem b'glalech, and Hashem blessed me because of you. B'Yosef ksiv v'yavarch Hashem es beis hamitzri, and Hashem blessed the house of Potiphar b'glal Yosef. Beis adahu gaver lo yavi mivrach, but Achav wondered, why hasn't my house been blessed by you? Shema lo yirei elekimata, maybe you're not God-fearing. Yotza Baskel v'amra Baskel went out. No, v'Avadya yirei as Hashem ma'od. Avadya was yorei Hashem exceedingly. Aval beisa shel Achav einu mezuman lebracha. But the house of Achav is just not destined for blessing. Rabbi Abba, if you want to know how great Ovadyo was, Gadol shenemer ba'avadyo, greater is that which it says by Avadyo, yoisim mima shenemer ba'avram. More than when it says by Avram. The ilu ba'avram like ksiv ma'id. It says that Hashem, ati yodati ki yirei elikim ata. But it doesn't say ma'id. Uba'avadyo, by Avadyo, ksiv ma'id. It says very much. Amar Reb Yochanan, Amar Reb Yitzchak, mipnei ma'azocha Avadyo l'nevias. Why did Avadyo merit nevias? Prophecy is never given to Gerim. He wasn't from a tipa ksheira. Because he hid 100 prophets in a cave and saved their lives. When Ezevel cut down the prophets of Hashem, Avadyo took 100 prophets. He hid 50 men in one cave, and he hid 50 in another cave. Why didn't he hide 100 in one cave? He learned from Yaakov, so he split them that if one was destroyed, the other would survive. Because a cave can't hold more than 50 people. A vision of Avadia, so did Hashem say to Edom. Now, Maishna Avadia le'Edom. Why did Hashem choose Avadia to prophesy about Edom? Amar Yitzchak, Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Yavai Avadio. Let Avadio come. Hador ben Shnei Risham, who lived between two Risham. He lived between Achav and Ezevel. V'loi lamad mimaseim, and he didn't learn from their deeds. V'yinovei al Esav Arasha Edom, of course, is a descendant of Esav, and prophesies about Esav, who lived between two tzaddikim, Shedar ben Shnei tzaddikim, Rivka and Yitzchak, v'loi lamad mimaseim, and didn't learn from their ways. Amar Ephraim, wow, I can't believe it. We're almost finished these two dafim. Gotta slow down. Slow down.
Why?
In case you want to know why the quality of the shir is so good, it's because of Shimon Deer and Yitzi Muller's new computer. I mean, it's emanating from a new computer.
And here, Rabbi Weiss, doesn't get better than that.
Yeah.
Hey, Barry, you photobombed us.
Listen, we too fast. We got to make that moment last.
By the way, now that we have 34 Zoomers, my wife told me that it's such a shame that we don't put together a Shabbaton to get everybody together. Something that people have to put away in their minds. It's something that we should, I don't know when, I hope I feel better soon, but it's something that we really should do.
A Zoom Shabbaton.
Amar Ephraim Mikshah, Talmidei Shel Rameir Mishum Rameir. Ephraim Mikshah, a disciple of Rameir, said in the name of Rameir.
March, we're coming to Chicago.
Said in the name, let's mute this guy.
He thinks he's scaring me.
Now, Amar Ephraim Mikshah, Talmidei Shel Rameir Mishum Rameir. Ephraim Mikshah, the disciple of Rameir, said in the name of Rameir, Ovadyo ger Adomi haya. Ovadyo was a convert from Edom. V'hainu de'imrei inshe minei ubei abba nezel bei narga. From the forest comes the axe that will cut down the wood. So from Edom came Ovadia that will prophesy about Edom. Vayach es Moav, David HaMelech smote Moav, Vayemadedem b'chevel hashkev oisam arza. He smote Moav, he laid them on the ground, he measured them with a rope, 2/3 he killed, and 1/3 he speared. The Rishonim talk all about what this is all about. Amar Reb Yochanan Mishum Reb Shimon ben Yochai, Hainu d'imrei inshe minei ubei abba lezel bei narga. from the forest comes the axe that chops it down, because David HaMelech was, of course, a descendant of Rus HaMoyaviyah. So, and he was the one that brought down the Moabites. The thigh from its own meat begins to spoil, and it begins to deteriorate. So again, this is the klal that we have, that from Moab came its undoing. Vayikach es benoya abachor asher yimloich tachtav. Mesha, who was the king of Moab, took his bachar, who was the prince in waiting, who was the king in waiting, and he offered him as a vayaleu oila ala chayma. He offered him as a burnt offering by the wall. Rav Shmuel chad amal l'shem shemayim. One is he did it for the sake of heaven, that Hashem should have mercy. V'chad amal l'shem avodah zarah. One said that he offered it to idolatry. So Bishloim elamandi amal l'shem shemayim, that he did it for the sake of heaven. Hainu d'chsiv vayi ketzev gadol al Yisrael. This caused a great anger on Klal Yisrael. Hashem saw when Mesha did an act of valor. Hashem doesn't want a human sacrifice, but Mesha did an act of valor, and Klal Yisrael didn't. Why was there anger? Says the Gemara, Kid Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi. Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi Rami. Ksiv ukemishpetei agoyim asher sviv oiseichem lo yasisem. And like the laws of the nations that are around you, you didn't do. Uksiv ukemishpetei agoyim asher sviv oiseichem asisem. You did do. So it's a contradiction. Says the Gemara, kimisukanim shibahem lo yasisem. You didn't do like the correct ones. This was Egloin Melech Moav. Egloin Melech Moav, when he heard that Hashem was sending a message, Egloin stood up. So, Kimisukanim Shebehem lo yasisem. Kimikilkolim Shebehem, like the messed up ones, like Mesha who did idolatry, that asisem, that you did. The Gemara continues, Vayisu me olav, vayeshuvu la'aretz. They left, vayeshuvu la'aretz. Here, vayeshuvu la'aretz means not that they returned to the land, but they returned to the depravity of the land. That's what it means. They sunk into the ground. Says the Gemara, Amar Reb Chanina bar Papa, ba'oiseh Shah, at that time, Yordu Rishayin Shel Yisrael, that's a euphemism for Klal Yisrael, they were Lamadrega Atachtoina, they were at the lowest level of their Yiddishkeit. Now, it says about, we used the phrase that Avadio was Yirei Hashem Ma'od. So it uses another pasuk where we have such a term Ma'od. Vanara, this was Abishag, who warmed David. Vanara Yofa Ad Ma'od. She was very beautiful, and yet we said David didn't take her as a wife because he already had the maximum numbers of wives, and we said that he didn't want to divorce any of his wives. She didn't reach even half the beauty of Sarah. It was only up till Ma'id, it says that Sarah was exceedingly beautiful, but she was only ad Ma'id Avishag, but not Ma'id, which was Sari Meinu. Hadrulach echad dinei mamanis. Hadrulach echad dinei mamanis. Hadrulach echad dinei mamanis. And yes, Marshall, you may well clap. This was a tremendous job that everybody did to learn two such massive blots. I mean, this is, it says It says, Ashrei Misha Balakan, fortunate is someone who comes to the next world, V'talmuda biyadai. So just to have these two blat for our Olam Haba portfolio is a wonderful thing. We're now going to do the Mishnah Yaimis back again tomorrow night with the new Perek at 8 o'clock. So let's go like this.